Everybody. I see a lot of faces from this morning. So to follow the same theme as this month for the zero waste theme, today topic is zero waste, a realistic goal, and our speaker is Dr. Panate Manomaivibool. And he's from Institute Study of Natural Resources Environment Management from the Manomaivibool University.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's such an honor to be in this kind of group. And sorry I didn't have a card today, but I think you can, normally you can call me just Panate. I just predict my last name is long. And for some reason, I also affiliate with many of the institutes that have such a long name. I think one thing if we want to change about sustainability, maybe start with the institution name. You know, we should have close to zero word that we use. Otherwise, always right. So, if you want to contact me, this is my email, and many of my publications I try to put it on ResearchGate as much as possible, not to infringe any copyright, but using the latest version as possible. So, just a brief introduction here. Just want to show his happy face. This is Thomas Glinkridge from, let's see, to remember the name, the International Institute for Industrial Environmental Economics. That's the triple IEE. That's where I first learned about environment. Before I graduated from Jula, from the political side, faculty of political science, I know next to little about the environment. But then I realized that, okay, there's this good chance to visit the real winter in Sweden. So why not just sign up? And there is a program, look interesting. I graduated in public policy. And this one called environmental management and policy. In the beginning, I think about environment. Yeah, I can work with tourism. This is Thailand. We have a lot of nice places to be around. And then, for some twist of fate, I get into waste management, which is kind of completely opposite in my opinion at that time. But thanks to him, if you have heard about extended producer responsibilities, you would know that this is one of the guys who behind it in 1980s and 1990s. And now he just recovered from big failure in Sweden, so maybe we should thank him for the great wishes. And then, but today's talk, I will not talk much about EPR, except for the end, maybe in the next topic for the next discussion. Today, I talk mainly about what happened after I landed in Chiang Rai, where I'm working right now at Manomaivibool University. I spent 20 years in Bangkok. When I go to Chiang Rai, that's completely different. However, I glad to say that for the last 4 years, we have such a great team now working on Chiang Rai Zero Waste. And for me, that's necessary. I come from Bangkok, so I don't speak the dialect. If you want to work with the communities, that's very important. So I believe in this philosophy saying that if you want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go far, you need a team. And now we have such a great team. First of all, let's look at our group name, Chiang Rai Zero Waste. So I think it's interesting to introduce in a way as kind of provoking a question. Is it really possible? Just look at our name, Chiang Rai Zero Waste. This is possible. So the topic of today is zero waste, realistic goal. And in my Greek minds, want to say that yes, definitely. Well, actually, the first answer, I might say that we start with no first. So just look up the second law of thermodynamics. Waste generation, to have zero waste generation, might not be possible. And someone even write a chapter on that, I will not bother to talk. But this is the reality. I know that this is a luncheon talk, so I try to limit the visual impact. Normally I would use another set of image for my waste talk, but today it would be the food friendly. We have a good food, so don't waste it. This is from the garbage truck in Chiang Khong. So this is what happened during the day in Chiang Khong. Have you been to Chiang Khong? Did you cross to Laos? So you know this place? Yeah. This is the port that you would cross to Laos in Bok Kaeo. This is the daily activities. And this is what happened at the end of the day. So my job starts in the evening and it finished about like 4 or 5 in the morning. So we had a project at that time with Chiang Saen and Chiang Khong because we know that these border towns, the economic activity would explode with tourism and they want to be logistic hub. Oh, I delighted that they did not decide to be like industrial hub of the region. Otherwise, it would totally be devastated. But just trying to promote tourism and logistics, it can already kind of be a concern for waste management. So we work with the municipalities over there, and we check up waste generation at hotel, at tourist attraction. In the beginning, they have no information. They just know how often do they run the truck. They estimate the amount of waste according to the volume of the truck, which sometimes lead to high overestimation. So this time we're trying to get some data into it. Again, I will not talk much about the result. You can find that in research again. But this is the picture of waste that has been generated in many municipalities. The result we have is that for the whole Chiang Rai, we haven't taken in the factor that the economic growth will happen in this province. Right now, 1.2 million people in this province, 143 municipalities and sub-district administrative organization or what. So we have 143 of them. We have only 2 sanitary landfills to take care of close to 1 kilo per person. So Chiang Rai first is basically remote province. To look at waste statistics, well, it's not that remote anymore. But when it comes to the disposal capacity, we have solid waste. And it only takes care of Masai and the city center. So what happened? Open down. Try to limit the visual impact. So this is the open down in Chiang Saen. And you would expect that there would be a strong sentiment right now about NIMBY. Chiang Saen is actually one of the lucky municipalities because they still have such a large public land for open down. Many others that coal or that land has been full right now, and they could not find any place for waste disposal facilities. No one wants to have their waste in the backyard, or waste disposal facility to be exact. Everyone knows about that problem. So this is actually our task for zero waste Chiang Rai. We will not say that we're trying to have zero waste generation, but we want to have as close as possible to zero waste disposal. And by we, I mean researchers from the university and also people in the local government, including Chiang Rai Provincial Administrative Organization. All of us learned in a hard way during the last few years, trying to solve it from the technological point of view, doing feasibility study of disposal side. Then we learned that it's not possible. This NIMBY is so small. We even have like some powerful politician who thought that she should be in control of the communities. If there was an election, she would want landslide. But when it comes to waste disposal, citing any location, she could not convince her electorate just for this issue. So we all learn in a hard way. So waste disposal, zero. Is it realistic? So in this time, I need to say yes. Otherwise, I should not be here. I need to be convinced that what I'm working, we are working, is possible. And I did something, and this is a reuse in my own university. So we have it for every freshman. We're working every FAO. This is some thing that I did on my spare time. But the real work is actually, I realized that this waste disposal reduction is possible. First time 10 years ago. And I just realized that I have that experience before. And it happened in a small scale at one of the schools in Luncheon called Luncheon. And before they have such a big problem of waste management, actually at that time they didn't realize they had a problem because BFA always took care of the waste. But then when they take a good look at it, a lot of residual resources that they can use and they can teach their students. So with a lot of work from, this is Mr. Apidon, he was a main person behind all this project. Within a year, they managed to bring down to almost 10% of what they used to send out to Bangkok. When I show this example, people say, yeah, it's easy. I mean, you have a school, you can have a strong working team, you have your student, so that should not be very difficult. But what about taking it to a village or a city? That's not possible. You have 10%. Well, we have some project, and then we realize that out of the total 100%, we have about 60% of organic in Chiang Rai. Inorganic waste is about, like, I put inorganic because normally we separate into recyclable and general waste. Actually, there is a shift in term. Some general waste, when you work on it, it becomes recyclable. So I want these two to be together because it's not so exact. But when it comes to organic, in your organic, we can make some distinction here. What happened is several villages managed to bring down their waste close to again 10%. And what did they do? They didn't start from recyclable. Actually, what they did is they tried to get rid of this green part from the garbage bin that they sent to the city. And we realized that it's so simple. What we need is simple solution for people to put away waste. First, we usually think about waste as a value, and we try to play with that value, like having a recycle bank, having a vermiculture to produce food compost, having a EM station. But those activities only take care a small portion of waste at a time. And it didn't have the big impact. So what we found out is that they have global wisdom that they can do in their own garden. And this thing is called Savian. I will show you the picture soon. It actually the bamboo cage. In the old day, they used that to keep rice after harvest. After they changed the container of rice, some stopped doing that. Now when we convince them that they should do something with waste management, especially organic part, because after the compositional study, we realized that it's not recyclable, we should take care of in the first place. It's organic. My university had agriculture training, and we realized that our solution would not fit for this 60%. We need a lot of work for that job. So with kind of a brainstorming, we realized that, okay, just bring back this thing. You have just one in your household, have like a rule in this village, the model village we have here. Have agreement, every household have one cage. And then the green thing disappeared from the waste that the municipality collect. So our next step is how to move up, how to convince others. Because we know that we're quite lucky with these few villages we have and succeed in doing that. In Pan, there were 20 of them, and only 5 can make such a movement strong enough to come together and have the village group. So our next task is how to spread it. And I show you this picture. I think most of you know this event, right? The Bike for Mountain. So we did it at the same time. We need something to motivate other village to join in the movement. So we throw in a competition, you can say. 83 Soviet. This is a picture of Soviet. You will see a lot of them later. 83 Soviets to celebrate the Queen. And by 83, actually we didn't mean just 83 items in whole Chiang Rai. We mean 83 villages. This is the challenge that we set up to tackle. We want 83 villages to join us in the new NIMBY. It's no longer not in my backyard, but we want it to be now in my backyard. We start managing our waste from our own backyard. This might not be applicable to Bangkok when you have no space in your backyard, but in Chiang Rai, this is the best thing that you can do. Guess what? We got at the end 105 villages join us. And we didn't spend a lot of money. We didn't buy bamboo for them. This is local material. They can do that by themselves. We even have instruction. You don't need to use bamboo. If you want to replace your roof, you can use your old roof and just put the cage around it. This is just what we need. Have some air into it so it's aerobic digestion that complete thing. And each one of that gets a certificate. Get one poster. That's the thing that we just give them. And the trick is trying to find a link in the village. Our messenger who will spread the word. Those are the village head man or head person, sorry. And each one of them, we give this hit. So the budget is very small for this project, but the impact is unbelievably large. So these are the people who join us. This is just few of the picture. This is the head of the village. We are talking cheese. So some place we have the temple, the monk doing it. And this is the poster we give to them. And we gave it because we visit some model village. It turned out that they have no information to the visitor. So we realized that if we want to promote it and make it big, we need information for the visitor. You know, when you go to Mexico now, on the way from Chiang Rai to Chiang Mai, some village you will see a lot of these bamboo on the way. But without information, it would be very difficult to spread the word. So we decided now 23 at least is in Chiang Rai, different location. And we even have a competition, the best of the best. So saying that which one is the best Soviet in 2015. And this is from different sub-provinces, sub-districts.
How is Xiaomian? What's it called again?
Soviet,
Xiaomian.
yeah. Well, in the beginning, many people have different names, Chovian, Sangvian, Soviet, but now we try to make it into one. It's amazing just to see the passion of the villager who participate. And I can say that when we select these 15 villages, it's not because they have the most beautiful 15 Soviet, but it's more like these are the strongest when we visit these 105 villages. So is zero waste possible? And it's not the technology, but it's the social movement that you need. And we select them because we know that these are among the best. Some of the village have it in every household in 2 months. So in that case, the head of the village is not, just a guy or a lady. So which one you would select for the best? This one? Look, beautiful. This is from Mephalung, which is the district in the Mesorong, where you have Doi Kun too. Actually, the one who won was this one.
This is the Chiang Rai local thing because I haven't seen this elsewhere in Panate.
Oh, actually, I think after we stopped using it for rice, the one, maybe the first one who really kind of bring it back is the Don Gao in Chiang Mai. Don Gao is one of the zero waste village that known to whole country. But when people visit Don Gao, they tend to focus on the biogas, all the catching thing. This Soviet thing kind of sit in the back, everyone backyard. But actually we realized that this is the main factor. We do the survey and we realized that only the village that have the agreement to do this thing can have people separate waste.
We put our waste inside the rim, inside the tanks, and let them compose.
Let them compose. It's best when you have a lot of leaf, dry leaf to cover. Some house that stop doing it because they have a lot of food waste. Maybe they have one or two trees only in their house. Then this is not suitable. But in Chiang Rai, most of the time we have a big garden, a lot of long trees. So this is the technology that's suitable context. We have another one for kind of semi-urban area. We call it green coat, where you have like a whole bucket and a basket underneath it, but it's not so beautiful. So for this first project, it fits the context and it's kind of good for beautification of the area too. So we select this one. I haven't told you the reason why it's one, isn't it? First, it's like, it looks so simple. And I didn't even like the pattern in the beginning. But when I asked the judge, and I was not the judge at the time, why do they give the first prize to it? The first jokingly saying that the villager told them, we under the military government. So this is the military pattern. Actually, I would get the award already with that. But no, there is a function. This type of bamboo cage have one drawback. It has bark in it. But when you smoke it like that, it prevents the bark. So that's why they did it. Why the other apply like lacquer, paint it. This one have natural process to doing it. Some other village later they find out other solution. You can put the bamboo in the water for a few days before you do it. That also prevents the bark. So we keep the golden one here. This is another price. It costs only few hundred. So Soviet is the first step. Just a few days later, I visit another village who was also in this 15, the last 15. And after they did Soviet, they noticed two things. First, we have a lot of bamboo, we have a lot of local material. So besides Soviet, let's do this thing outside the house. And in a few months, they would have a lot of compost. So the head of the village, this guy, Mr. Prashad, he convinced the villager, let's do home garden. We would have it in every household. So this is exactly what we planned from the very beginning. I feel like a rock star. So what we want is first, they separate organic waste from their garbage. Simple solution that they can do every day. Compost is not the first thing that we told them. We just told them did it. Second one, once this kind of organic waste get out from the garbage bag, they will see the value of what they throw away. And it no longer smelly. for them to separate the other waste. So I think we got it wrong when we start with recycle bag. People, they do recycle at a time, but they still haven't improved on their waste management. This is still validating that they still want to get out of the house. They might get some money from garbage bag, but the total waste management haven't improved. This time we get it the other way around. Get organic waste first, then they start to talk about how to separate recycling, because all of them are money. And if you see in this picture, they separate plastic bag. Because some of the company, they participate in our project and they realize that this village, they can get this plastic bag in a good quality because no longer organic waste has contaminated. So we have many companies approaching this village. So they can sell many of recyclable. There is a shift in the organic fraction of general to recyclable too. The third thing we ask them to do, now you get compost, let's do home garden. This is the movement we're doing right now, this year. This is the model that we want to have. Pong Sinathorn is a village that won the National Zero Waste Competition last year. We see this process has been applied to Pong Sinathorn, and we try to get the lesson and spread to the other villages. So start from zero waste, then we can get food security. But the bottom line is how to solve the bigger social problem in Chiang Rai, especially in the countryside, that younger generation move out of the village. People start to suicide. How can we change that? So there is a market for kind of study visit tourism. And we try to have this model village to capitalize on that. Once you make your village into a model one, people will come to visit you. You have a free room at your house because your children move out. You can turn that into a room for visitors to stay. You have home garden. You can guarantee that you provide them with organic food. So, and the last thing, you see a lot of this invention from the commodity from residue. Normally the question is, where is the market? You ask villagers to do it, but there is no market. So in this way, we try to bring the buyers. Some of them can be compulsory buyers when they visit the village. You don't need to sell them directly, you give them as a gift, but they have to pay to the village anyway. So we tell them, don't just accept a group that comes for a few hours. Provide a cost for them to stay with you maybe a night or two, 1 day a day. And we try to have it in each of the districts, one village. Not only Soviet, but to 3 conditions. Soviet, recyclable, and home garden. So it worked very well. Next year we will have 18 villages for you to visit and spend money. Now just end with some problem that made me go into circle. This is one of the model village we have, and I brought a group of sensei from Japan, from the National Institute of Environmental Study. They appreciate what they see, but our main purpose is to survey their household. What kind of equipment that they have. Mentally wow because of this. It's quite heaven outside, but when we see in the household, we realize that in the next 2 years they will have a problem with this equipment coming out. Now they still have space to store it. But if we try to promote them to have homestay, they will have to remove it. What would happen? Some of the villagers in our model village, they say that, oh, we can recycle them. I know that we can take part of television, we get copper. We don't want them to do that because they just sell valuable material to outside, but all the toxic will stay in their village. And the compressor, this might not be human health impact, but if they release all the R12 to the air, that would be devastating. So our zero waste movement might be able to deal with organic normal recyclable. But when it comes to this type of special waste, well, maybe I can get some lesson I got from Thomas for extended producer responsibilities. So my conclusion, well, zero waste if we mean disposable by getting consumer to take action and the producer to take responsibilities. Now we work hard on this, and it's quite pleasant to working with people in Chiang Mai. I don't know whether I would succeed if I still stay in Bangkok. But now we also need this part. So hopefully, anytime soon I can be able to say the same thing about producer taking the same level of responsibilities. So let's conclude my talk. This is my university. Thank you.
Now would be a time for a Q&A. I'd like to take the first questions. When you talk about Sawian, are there usually smells that comes out from organic waste? And if there is, how do you keep it from being a nuisance?
Normally, if you use it like in this village, for example, you will see that actually they have a lot of yard waste, much more than food waste. When we did the waste composition analysis, normally we see a lot of food waste because they already take care of some of the yard waste in their home, just piling it under the tree. So actually, in the rural area, when you have that kind of mixture, the smell is not that bad. If you have problem, some of the things we already initiated in the past, like the EM or liquid compost, that would work best for this solution. And it faster the decomposition process too.
So you spray the EM liquid?
Or sometimes just water. But we prefer to link it with the EM because in the past, one of the problem we have is when we promote liquid compost, they did it for a batch or two. After that, either they don't have the ingredient because they didn't kind of get into how the process works and try to find the local ingredient to replace it. The next obstacle is they have limit application. So some villagers have some kind of cabinet full of liquid compost and stop doing that. But when we link it here, there is some application that they can use almost on a daily basis. So we're trying to link with other activities we did in the past, and also vermicompost is kind of becoming popular again once they get into this. Some villagers even ask for biogas system. So we didn't kind of throw in many solutions at a time and let them brainstorm which one we want to do. But now we are more like it kind of top down in a sense. But we try to see which one is the easy first step that will have big impact. And once they do that, they will be the one who demand us to introduce them to these and those. And I think they are more ready to receive that.
And you said that there's another model of this compost for the city with a lot of food waste. Do you have like example of the picture by any chance, or
Of
the compost system for the urban area?
I didn't have it in this presentation, but you can just Google green cone.
Green what?
Cone.
Cone.
C-O-N-E.
Green cone.
I think it was a trademark from the company in the UK. So we just show the picture to the villager and when maybe it's not as efficient as the original design. But what you can do easily, you dig a hole, you have a basket of achi, put it underneath it so the soup and the water thing can go down. Then you have a bucket upside down. Cut the top so it becomes a lid. So it's closed system. So smell will not be as bad as if you have open system for food waste. Put it, this is the most important, put it under the sun. Because somehow so second is not effective, and when we look, oh okay, yeah, you have it in the shade all the time. It would not work. This is just to have the heat to help you with the decomposition.
And you need the worm in the system as well.
No, you don't need.
No worm.
You just put it like in the old day when you have food waste, but you dig a hole and then cover it. This is just make it convenient, so you don't need to dig the hole many times and it's covered. So have the bucket.
Any more questions?
Maybe one thing.
I'm originally from the Netherlands. Actually, the Netherlands is a country that has zero waste disposal, no, not generation, of course. But there's no landfill or anything like that. It's all either reused, recycled, composted, or burned for electricity or something like that, or biogas or whatever. Do you think that this is applicable on a national scale in Thailand? Because it's really a big problem here in Thailand, waste.
Well,
I think for the cities, if you see some of the waste disposal sites which are like 20 meters high and you know, it's enormous. So they, I think it's, what would you see as a solution for that?
I would say that this is not alone. This kind of system cannot be a solution, but it would reduce the problem. And we still have that last 10%, even for these villages. We didn't manage to get it down to really the zero, the magic number. But we get it to the more manageable waste in the last 10%. And we think at the end we still need to have some centralized system in Chiang Mai. That's what we trying to work on in another platform, you know, with the local government. But there what we lack is the understanding of the true cost of waste and the willingness to pay from the local government. Now these two types, the first one, they don't want to do anything. The second one, they misunderstand it, if I may, that waste has a lot of value and you can sell everything. So they are not buying into paying for keeping free. I think in Netherlands you can turn, or in Sweden, you can turn waste into energy. But households still pay a lot of, actually very high charge for waste services. And municipality have to still subsidize that, isn't it?
In Holland you separate at consumer. So every house has several call it big buckets or something like that, at different colors, and they are collected at different days, and that is for your normal household waste. If you have like electronic waste, furniture or other things, you have to go and bring it yourself to a recycling station, indeed. Yeah. If you don't do it, you can fine real heavily. So if you would, for instance, put plastic in a organic waste basket, and they will collect on that day the organic waste, and they will find plastic, you'll get fined like 10,000 baht or something like that. So people are very careful of what they do. All the waste that cannot be recycled, it'll be how do you call it, incinerated, and of course the energy is then used for either hot water or steam production, and then you can use it again in factories or in electricity generation. Yes, there's no landfill anymore. All the landfills that we have, it's all recovered and either then recycled or burnt or whatever. And some have been turned into golf courses or parks or something like that. Because one of the problems with organic waste, if you dump it, like you see here, there will be also some dangerous stuff that is going to be dumped. And it's, with the rain, it'll then go into the soil, and after like 30 years or so, you might get some real bad and dangerous soil. So that will be an obstacle to this form of waste, if people are not very careful as what they are dumping there.
And I believe that city people will not be as careful as the villagers here. In here, most of them are farmers, so they took very good care of what they would put in there. Actually, the same type of people, once the municipality start to provide service, they lost their common sense. Even though, like in Masai, we know that they have compost plant. People know that. If they do it at home, they would select the good ingredient for compost. But when they throw it to Mesai municipality, you get everything, even like construction and demolition waste is there. So what we try to do here is trying to have them manage their own waste because we know that they have the knowledge and the skill to do it. But back to the city, I don't think city people would have such maybe willingness to do. So a short question to your answer would be, I imagine another type of solution which would be on rule-based and give economic incentive for people in the city. But we have seen only few of that cases. There is some municipality in Chiang Rai having implement the weight-based pricing, but they cannot do it by themselves. They have to ask village to do it. This is in the city, in like semi-urban city setting. Because if we do it by themselves, some of the household can bring them to the administrative court and trying to contest them that weight pricing is not applicable. There is a case where municipality lost when they're trying to introduce volume-based pricing, selling back and not collecting waste that people don't put in the bag. And you know what? The Ministry of Interior said that no, you have the responsibility to collect waste. So if people put out, it's your responsibility to take it. If we still have people in the hierarchy still have that kind of attitude, we still quite some year into that kind of solution. So some municipalities trying to implement those solutions, but they need to go also with the villages. That's why I think the reason why we have few of that.
I think the first thing is to educate the public for separating the waste first. Right? I mean, this is key. Without separating things in every month, nobody can do it, and it's not going to be efficient. You look at the case in Taiwan and in Okinawa. In Okinawa, all the rubbish bags are transparent. So the collectors will see what's in there. If they're not separate, they're not going to pick it up. Right? I mean, that kind of thing can be done at the municipal level. And in Taiwan, they dedicated certain days collecting certain produce or waste. So these kind of things can be done, in my opinion, that the officers, sure, it's more difficult in Bangkok, such a big things in here, but at the local level, if there's a will, that's always the way they do it. Yeah.
And I think the first thing to do in the city is trying to have different collection of at least organic and other waste.
Yeah.
And actually,
to stop plastic bags in supermarkets.
and styrofoam.
My God.
Any more questions?
I'd like a question. What kind of organic things are toxic?
Sorry?
You mentioned there's organic produce which can be toxic to the soil.
No, but you can never be, if you let everybody just dump it somewhere in the garden or whatever, you don't really know what they are dumping. If it's truly organic, or maybe they are also some chemicals mixed in it, they could whatever waste of.
But if it's your own garden, would you mix toxic into it? If your own garden.
But
I don't know. It depends on.
This is okay because the tree will die first.
In that case, I guess if you would make it like a center for more for a city or so, you have a center place where this is, and you don't control as to what is really dumped into it. You don't really know.
If it's common, then you start to have problems.
I mean, if the cities here would have more parks or something, you could build this thing around trees here, but look at the 5 trees you have in Bangkok, that's not enough. You would have a bigger share of green spaces and you would add something like that. Maybe you could do something at least for certain, districts of the town or something.
But you have nowadays you have technology whereby actually municipal waste you can compact it and make it into pellets, which are then can be used for electricity generating. Yeah. It's almost the same energy value as coal, for instance, or lignite. Lignite is with coal. So you still have quite a lot of coal generated. Why wouldn't they start with that? Yeah, if you go to Subutmarkan or Ayutthaya, you have these waste piles. They are like 20 meters high, kilometer long. It's enormous. They could describe it as we talk about billions of tons of waste of getting rid of that. You don't have to then import a lot of energy. You have a source of actually generating electricity or steam for factories or for other purposes. And so. But it's very political. So most of these things, they don't seem to go anywhere with these proposals, unfortunately. How long it would be, you may not try to get incinerators or forced plots in Thailand. I think they've been talking since the 80s, and it still hasn't materialized. Because then it's awarded and there's a corruption case coming on again, and cancelled again, and the next governor comes and he didn't get any benefit of it, so he's going to be, it's just never ending.
They want some change.
Huh?
They want some change.
They all want to have some change.
Yeah, sorry, I have just a basic question that you call the Soviet. They just put organic waste, just put it, and just leave it. No, to make a compost to add some chemical or something.
You can add EM if you want it to be faster. And now many start to doing that. But in the beginning, we told them you don't need to do anything. It would gradually kind of decompose by itself if you allow enough time. That's the benefit of using bamboo because it let the air in. Some have like a cement block and do it for Soviet. We said, okay, thank you. It's good to have somewhere to sit in your house, but it would not work best for making it compost, so we have to also turn it. It's because we have a good material for this purpose. But basically, you can just leave it.
No smell.
Depend on the mixture, but in Chiang Rai, if you have such a mixture, it's not a big problem.
Questions. Have you analyzed, how many people per household will be applicable to this kind of thing? Let's say if a family of 10, will the thing be decomposed fast enough? The more people you have, more this kind of organic waste, right? So I mean, what would be the most optimal household size of family members?
We haven't done the detailed calculation yet. Actually, this year, we will have the evaluation process going on with that 18 villages. But just an observation, we still have extended family. We collect information with the Japanese group asking all these questions. If you have 10 people in your household, normally you have a big land too. And you don't have just one Soviet in your house.
Well, again, our experience in organic composting, if you leave it there without turning anything in, it would take 4 months to completely decompose into a compost in here. So I think it's back to what Chris mentioned in here is the input and output factors. How fast can it turn into compost and how quickly you can put new things in. That is a tricky point in this aspect in here. And in organic farming in here, we do have techniques, and the best ones in this subject is Adananat in major university. Yeah, it's very good.
Any more questions?
I have one question that I've been wondering for a long time about the house saving bulb that has some mercury in it. Is there a way to manage it safely and not toxic in the environment?
To another area of my research in electronic waste. The technology is that you can even distill back the mercury, not only recycle the glass. Now is where is the money to do it? We have the Norwegian company trying to sell us the technology for it now, close to 7 years that we have been discussing with them. So the technology is that in this country, we still don't yet have the law to force anyone to invest into it. we have some voluntary scheme from Toshiba and Philips for a certain period of time. But PCS are project kind of defeated by its own success, because once you start to get a lot of land back, you don't have the capacity. And the companies thinking should we invest more, while our competitors haven't really started. So we have from time to time that they stop receiving the land in the next year after they get kind of huge input into it. There is one Ajahn from Khon-Kaen. He trying to have a simpler solution. He saying that don't try to play with recycling, because by doing recycling we need some capacity, and it means a lot of transportation, and that would be broken along the way. So he invented a new kind of small machine, I think 10,000 baht, where you mix it in and there is line to, and at the end you have some kind of concrete box. And he trying to measure whether the mercury is kind of dissipated from that. So far, it showed good result. So this is one maybe solution in the future. So his idea is if each municipality just have this machine, and while we kind of changing from 20% land to LED, then we can make like a statue. So that is one of the maybe future solution.
What about glass recycling? I've heard a lot about the problem that some of the garbage pickup don't want to take glass because they don't get as much money from it. I mean, some of it could be reused, but when it's broken, I still put it in a bag and put it in recycling. Does that get melted down into a new bottles, or it's somewhere really lacking in Thailand?
I think the obstacle is the transportation. The value is little. So in Chiang Rai, like in Masalong, recyclers will not accept glass.
So what can you do? I mean, you can reuse your bottle, but once it's broken, what can you do?
Recycling. So the solution is not about how to recycle it. There is proven technology for recycled glass, and I think it can even be closed loop. Now the solution is how to, bridging the gap for the transportation. So in many cases in our villages, the municipality is stepping in. And they have a good reason, because glass is no good for disposal in any of the systems. So if the villager kindly separate them, even if they have to pay for recycler to take it, they would do it. But in the normal market, recycler will refuse to take glass because of the very reason you are saying. But once people separate it, there is a way to recycle glass. That's not an issue. It's how we will sponsor the transportation until it reaches, like in the city where it will be collected.
Any more questions for today?
We should have a section on economy of waste. I think that will be very interesting.
Just another thing, is paper actually collected and recycled separately in Thailand, or is it just like plastic, metal, and organic, or how do you handle paper things, or what do you do with it?
But I mean, you have to see that. I mean, when we working with these villages, they don't have a lot of paper.
Okay.
So what they do is they don't need like separate container for their household. They would collect like tea and book, and when they have activity like garbage bag, every month they would bring in. For like carton packaging, what we are doing now is the RDF. So one of the companies that start to contact this village, there are two that kind of new phrases beside the recycle. One is the one who target plastic bag. They send it to Laos. There is a Chinese factory over there. The other is the company who doing RDF and send it to Lampang, to the cement mine. Because once you get all these guys out, the residue, including all the packaging, the composite, and also like some paper packaging would be very good for gas fuel. So then another thing that you can have as a separate.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about the paper carton because for me back then I always think that paper is better and I always use carton over plastic. But is it really better to use carton because Tetra Pak is actually plastic, paper, and foil, and there's many steps for them to be able to recycle it. So, in your opinion, what would be the better choice to choose?
This depends. This is one of the questions I have in the class with the student. Glass, plastic, and Tetra Pak. Depends on like milk. If you want to use it that often, then maybe plastic would be even better than Tetra Pak. If you want to store it without refrigerators, and you rarely use it, just want to keep it at home, when you need it, you have it, then Tetra Pak might be a solution.
But in terms of recycling, which would be easier to recycle?
Plastic is not easy to recycle.
If you compare with Tetra Pak,
For glass.
because
Okay. Anybody else has questions?